And what action movie can it be than the one, the only, the third installment in the Jumanji series known as Jumanji! The Next Level. Okay, let's just get this one thing straight. The only reason why I'm reviewing this movie to you guys is that I don't have to review Black Christmas for you, but I've already seen the movie, but that's a video for January, so... Let's talk about Jumanji: The Next Level. In terms of successful franchises that Sony have managed to generate over the past couple of years, one of the biggest surprises of 2017, yes, the same exact year that the DC Cinematic Universe franchise almost crashed and died and never recovered, was Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, which took skeptical, cautious, and nostalgic audiences who had an attachment to the original with Robin Williams completely by surprise. I thought it was a pretty good management of how to appropriately handle a sequel, and had quite the organic and creative concept, which was greatly executed, and the cast was a total blast to watch on screen, with video game-like set pieces and funny moments that took advantage of its setting and its premise that it was placed in. Regardless, the film found its audience, and managed to become the box office success that Sony was looking for. Thus, much to our own surprise, or lack thereof, Sony pitched out the third installment of the Jumanji series known as Jumanji: The Next Level. A sequel that again follows our 4 high school graduated protagonists as they are about to meet up with each other for their Christmas celebration. However, Spencer, played by Alex Wolff, who was overwhelmed by his emotions and feeling insecure about his position in the world and his love life, transports into the video game world of Jumanji that he recovered after he and his friends broke the console and almost the video game, and agreeing upon that they would never play it again, seeing how it almost cost them their lives. So, why would he go after it? Aw, screw it, turn your brain off, let's enjoy the movie. The trio find out what happened to their friend and try to go inside of the game, just so we can bring Spencer back home as one of their characters, being played once again by Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, Jack Black, and the People's Champion, The Rock. But with a twist. Instead of the players picking the characters to go inside of the game is a bit malfunctioned and corrupted, and it brings people in the game who didn't even decide to play the game to begin with, such as Spencer's grandfather, played by Danny DeVito, and his business partner, Milo Walker, played by Danny Glover. So it's up to our remaining heroes to find Spencer and to save Jumanji again. Guys, you know how I said that Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle was a solid example of how to reinvigorate a franchise by creating a sequel that pays respect to the original and establishes an inventive idea without rehashing the same story over and over again? Well, that's practically the opposite of Jumanji: The Next Level in a nutshell. It's a tired, repetitive third installment that solely exists of creating a sequel just so that Sony can stretch out its attempts of creating a franchise. You think I'm really making this up, don't ya? But I'm not. The film and its plot does nothing new or have anything to offer aside from new locales, new environments, new villains, new animals, new abilities, and even new actors. That kind of begs the obvious question. Was this movie even necessary? I mean, what have you seen in The Next Level that hasn't been done already in Welcome to the Jungle? The players fulfilling the same exact arc of building a relationship and reconciliation over conflicts that they have gone over the past that might cost each and one of them their lives in the game, having to go and find an ancient MacGuffin in order to escape the evil clutches of the villain, and running into action set pieces which disappointingly leaves you with no attention as you could have gotten in its predecessor. And not to forget that they have to play Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses again, because we haven't gotten sick of that song already. Sure, the story in Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle in the overall scheme of things was about as predictable as a sunrise, but at least the film on its own was entertaining and amusing. You were along for the ride and enjoyed the film with our protagonists regardless of the flaws. The Next Level is even more predictable, because aside from going over the same rules and guidelines in the game that we are already familiar with, you are already aware of the stakes that are going to happen to a T. And because of it, it doesn't weigh the same amount of suspense and dread as you were hoping for as it did previously with its story and to its audience. The humor also doesn't stick the landing as much. Sure, there was at least some moments here and there in the film that I had a chuckle or two at, but throughout the movie I kept finding the perfect laugh out loud moment of the film, and the best this movie could get out of me was a snicker. It's mostly perhaps due to the reused and common jokes that have been orchestrated in the last movie. Like the way that actors like The Rock, Jack Black, Karen Gillan, and Kevin Hart are talking about their features and their overall strengths and weaknesses as a character, despite imitating the gang in the real world. But in this movie, it's like, hey, you want to hear the same exact jokes again? But this time, the gang are in different characters, and one of them is being played by Danny Glover and Danny DeVito. I don't know whether I'm just a pyromancer with a frozen heart that doesn't even laugh at every single joke I see, or if I just need to eliminate a few more brain cells in order to laugh along with my audience. I'm guessing it's the former. But with the acting side of things, it's not all too bad. In fact, it's actually quite pretty good. Indeed, the four main characters are still delightful to watch as their heartwarming chemistry and development shine on screen, and both Danny DeVito and Danny Glover, with what little screen time they do have, make up for it with adequate acting that give the film such heart and levity, especially during sequences where they have to talk about their business going into shambles and basically talking about their points in life, both beneficial and quite sympathetic and heartbreaking. However, with some of the actors impersonating the real-world characters as video game models, out of all of them, the ones who manage to stay in character the most are Awkwafina and Nick Jonas. This is not a dream. Their performances are especially excellent because their behaviors, their mannerisms, and imitations of how characters would be in reality are so well performed. From Awkwafina containing the same nerdy quirks as Spencer, to the easygoing yet grouchiness of his grandfather in the game, to Nick Jonas's role as a returning character from the previous film. But the same cannot be said for Kevin Hart as he portrays Danny Glover as a caricature of an old wise black man, Jack Black who is pretending to be a white man pretending to be Fridge, and the Brahma Bull Dwayne Johnson, who for the life of him, despite having a charismatic personality, cannot do a good impersonation of Danny DeVito to save his life. But I will give him a compliment, he does do a good Joe Pesci, just not Danny DeVito. If anything, he sounds like an old, noisy Jewish grandfather in New Jersey. I'm serious, if you take the real-world characters and put them right next to the imitations that are made by Kevin Hart, Jack Black, and The Rock, they're not even close in any facet. Fortunately, there is an interesting performance by the Hound from Game of Thrones, Rory McCann, who plays the main villain of the film, who, unlike the previous villain, gives the character a central menace that makes him feel like that there is a central force to be reckoned with. You know, is there ever going to be a point in time where Sony doesn't drop the ball when attempting to build up a franchise or a cinematic universe? Because Jumanji: The Next Level isn't a stepping stone in the right direction. It's a puddle of quicksand, sinking what hope could land Sony into the realm of franchise relevance as they did with Spider-Man. While instead of producing a film that exceeds the levels of moderate appeasement that has been exemplified in Welcome to the Jungle, Sony hashes out a beat-for-beat retread of what we've already seen before, that offers little to nothing new within its character development and its story, that leaves its audience with mild amusement. Just because I'm back into the jungle doesn't mean it's all gonna be fun and games. Alright guys, so that is my review of Jumanji: The Next Level. If you like this video, please like and comment what you thought of the film. You'll also find me on media outlets such as Twitter, Facebook, and if you have a phone, maybe find me on Instagram. And as always, if you'd like to see more reviews like this, be sure to subscribe for more. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Luke Nukem. If you smell what the Rock is cooking!